In a quaint, sleepy American town, there resided an old baker man named Henry Applewood. Henry had spent his entire life in this town, baking bread and pastries in the same little bakery that his grandfather had opened many decades ago. He was known for his delicious treats, and his bakery was a beloved fixture in the community. Henry was a man of routine. Each morning he would wake up before the sun, shuffle down to the bakery, and start preparing the dough for the day's bread and pastries. His hands, weathered and skilled from years of kneading and shaping, worked with precision and love. As the sun began to rise, the intoxicating aroma of freshly baked bread would waft through the streets, enticing the townsfolk to start their day with a warm, buttery croissant or a crusty baguette. The bakery, with its creaky wooden floors and cozy atmosphere, was a place where the townspeople not only got their daily bread, but also shared their joys and sorrows. It was a hub of the community, a place where friendships blossomed, romances bloomed, and secrets were exchanged. Henry was not just a baker, he was a friend and confidant to many. One sunny morning, as the golden rays of the sun streamed through the bakery's small windows, Henry was kneading a batch of dough when the bell above the door tinkled. He looked up to see a young woman standing at the counter. Her name was Sarah, and she had recently moved to the town. With a friendly smile, Henry wiped his flour-covered hands on his apron and approached her. "Good morning, miss," he greeted her. "Good morning," Sarah replied. "I've heard wonderful things about your bakery. Is there anything you'd recommend?" Henry's eyes twinkled as he began to describe the various pastries and bread he had on display. He spoke with such passion and enthusiasm that Sarah couldn't help but be drawn in. She decided to try a blueberry scone and a cup of freshly brewed coffee. As Sarah enjoyed her scone, she and Henry struck up a conversation. She learned that he had been the town's baker for over 5 decades, following in his grandfather's footsteps. He told her about the secret family recipes passed down through generations and the joy he found in creating delicious treats for the community. Sarah, an aspiring writer, was captivated by Henry's stories and the warmth of the bakery. She decided to make it a daily ritual to visit and chat with Henry, and soon they became good friends. Sarah would sit at the small table near the window, sipping coffee and typing away on her laptop, while Henry continued his baking magic. In time, Sarah began to write a book about the old baker man and the heartwarming tales he shared. She knew that Henry's life story was a treasure trove of wisdom, humor, and love. The town had always loved Henry's treats, but Sarah was determined to make the world fall in love with the man behind the bakery counter. Sarah would arrive early each morning, ready to capture the essence of the bakery and the stories of the old baker man. She interviewed Henry about his childhood, the bakery's history, and the people he had met over the years. She discovered that Henry had a remarkable gift for not only making mouth-watering pastries, but also for listening to the troubles and dreams of the townsfolk. One day, Sarah decided to share a chapter of her book with Henry. She had written about the day he first met his wife, Margaret, who had been a frequent customer at the bakery. Henry's eyes misted over as he read the words that brought back cherished memories. Margaret had passed away many years ago, and this chapter was a poignant reminder of their enduring love. Henry smiled and said, "You have a way with words, Sarah. You've captured the love we shared so beautifully." Margaret was the light of my life, and the bakery was where our love story began. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, Sarah's book started to take shape. It was not just a story of an old baker man, but a love letter to a small town and the extraordinary people who lived there. The book celebrated the connections forged over pastries and coffee, the laughter and tears shared in the cozy bakery, and the wisdom imparted by the old baker man. Sarah's book was met with enthusiasm by the townspeople. They couldn't wait to read the stories that had been a part of their lives for so long. The local bookstore began to take pre-orders, and the excitement built with each passing day. One evening, the townspeople gathered at the bakery for a special event. Sarah, with her book in hand, stood at the front of the bakery while Henry, surrounded by the warm scent of freshly baked bread, beamed with pride. Sarah read passages from her book, and the listeners were transported to the world of the old baker man, a world filled with love, laughter, and the magic of a small town. The book, titled Baking Love, Stories from the Old Baker Man, became an instant hit. It resonated not only with the townspeople, but with readers from all over. The little bakery that had been a hidden gem in the heart of the town was now famous far and wide, thanks to Sarah's words and the love that Henry had baked into every creation. The town decided to celebrate their beloved baker, and a grand party was held in the bakery's honor. The mayor presented Henry with a key to the city, and Sarah's book became a bestseller, touching the hearts of readers around the world. It wasn't just a story of an old baker man, it was a testament to the power of love, community, and following one's passion. As the years passed, Henry continued to bake his delicious treats, and the bakery remained a place of warmth and comfort for the townspeople. Sarah moved on to write more books, but she always cherished the memories of the old baker man and the time she had spent in that cozy little bakery. In the end, it wasn't the pastries or the bread that made Henry special. It was the love he poured into everything he did, and the connections he formed with the people who walked through his door. The old baker man's story was a reminder that in the heart of even the simplest of towns, there could be extraordinary magic, and it all began with a kind and passionate soul like Henry Applewood.